Welcome, my name is Shara Johnson and I'm the Canvas enthusiast. Today we are talking about the rich content editor. Now, not to be confused, we are going to go over the original content editor. There is a new one out there, but there's lots of us who are still using the old but goodie. So we're going to show you what this looks like inside of Canvas. Here we are inside of the page. Now do know, it really doesn't matter where you are in Canvas. You could be creating a page, you could be creating an announcement, you could be creating an assignment, a discussion, you get the idea. This is pretty much what Canvas looks like when you are creating something. Now, when we say rich content editor, we're technically usually talking about this space right here. In addition, that encompasses this HTML editor. And then we're also talking about this content selector on the side. So we're going to just briefly go over these things so that you can see what's available to you in this space. Now, I'm going to gloss over the top row because if you use any sort of word formatting software, Google Docs, Word, whatever, bold, italicized, underline, all of those things are pretty standard, right? Bullets, subscripts, so on and so forth. But the second row is kind of a little bit different. So the first things we can do is we can use a table. Now, I used a table a lot when I was teaching this last year, and I did it primarily to keep myself organized. So for the example, the day of the week, and here might be my class outline. And I would post things or I would connect things from my course into this space to keep my kids organized. Now, tables are really great for text and information. Be careful when you're using tables though, because they can cause troubles with accessibility. What I mean by that is if you're going to use a table, in this table properties right here, we want to make sure that we use it so that students with a screen reader can actually read what's going on in this table. To do that, we have to include a caption and we also have to include a header. Now, I'm going to leave the second part of this, the accessibility check, to show you here down the road when we talk about this guy. But the caption would basically say what's in this table. So maybe it would just tell what's going on in my classroom. So that's a table. Do notice when you highlight over table, you get all of these different table menus. That allows you to help adjust any of those spaces. You can get rid of it, add rows, below, before, after, delete rows, insert columns, yada, yada, yada. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. So the next thing we have on our list is insert media. Now, this could be that you have maybe a video that you want to include. So I am on my second screen copying a YouTube URL and I'm going to paste that in there. Notice that it automatically comes up with the dimensions. Now, if you don't have this checked, that would allow you to change the dimensions, but you'd have to be pretty good at math. If we constrain proportions and I change this guy, it's going to change the second number for me. If I say OK, notice it brings the video directly in my space and it looks really, really nice. If I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time, you'll notice there's a second option that says embed. There are many things that provide embed codes, videos being one of them. You can get embed codes for Padlet. You can get embed codes for Nearpod. You can get embed codes for a lot of things. And essentially what it is that they are giving you the code and we simply paste it into this space. Now, if I embed that code in there and press OK, you're going to see I get the exact same result. So that's what this insert edit media option is. Okay, just to give us more room. The next one is link to URL. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to say to my students, okay, we're in algebra, by the way. So let's say that I say to my students, please view the greatest algebra site ever. And I want to link the word algebra site to the actual site. I can highlight the words algebra site. I can go up to that link to URL and I can actually select and paste the URL of the website that I want them to actually go to. Now, here's a helpful trick. If you want them to actually navigate away or go outside of this window, if you select in the center and press Command K, you actually have the ability to open them in a new window. So you want the students to open up that link, but you don't want it to replace Canvas. You want it to instead go outside of Canvas. Go to the center of your link, press Command K, and that's going to give you the option to open that up in a new window. So to see what that looks like in action, if I go ahead and press Save, now I click Algebra Site, it should open a new tab, and there it does, and it opens into this new space. Okay, so that is the link. Now, same thing can be said for the next one. If that is the link maker, the next one is the link breaker. So if I select my link, I can click that and it will actually remove my link for me. Okay, next on the list is the embed image. Now, same thing that we had with the insert media, there's a couple of different options here. We can go and find a picture on the internet. We want to make sure that it is copyright free, that it is reusable, all that good jazz, and we can actually paste that image in this space. I have the image URL, I'm going to paste it in there. This has nothing to do, by the way, with algebra. Now, here's another accessibility. If this is important for the students learning, we want to make sure that we describe it so students with a screen reader have the ability to know what that is. If it's not, and it's just decorative, we can go ahead and click that and have it call it a decorative image. So we're going to update. Yeah, that has a lot to do with algebra. There you go. Okay, so the next one, if I want to add another image, notice my first tab was URL, my second one is Canvas. This will actually open up things that I have in my course files. So images that I've already used, I could do those, or in my own files. So for example, there's a Bitmoji that I've already used, so I'm going to check that box, and I can add images from there as well. Now, I don't actually do it that way. I'm going to show you another way in a little bit, how I add them a little bit easier, but that's just another way that you can do that. The third option, you have URL, Canvas, and Flickr. There are free images here for you. So if I was going to Google algebra, there might be something out there possibly that has to do with algebra, and I can grab those images from Flickr. And once again, if it's important for the learning, you would want to explain that. If it's just for decoration, make sure to check the box. So there are some different ways that you can add images. Now, just to keep my space open, the next item on our toolbar is the equation editor. I am actually a math teacher, so this is fantastic. This is an equation editor that allows you to put those inside of your assignments, your discussions, your quizzes. You can use this inside of quiz questions. FYI, helpful hint, if you want your students to have the equation editor in a quiz question, make it an essay question. They'll have the equation editor available to them there. Working down our way on our toolbar. Now, these things are going to be subject to your school. These are apps, and notice I have two, but if I actually click on this little toggle switch, I have a whole bunch of apps here. Those are apps that my school has actually enabled on to my Canvas account. So I can use those apps. So for example, if I want to grab something from my Google Drive, a Discovery Ed video, I can use those apps that are there. I can actually just bring a YouTube video in just from that space as well if I'd like. Now I will say, let me see, solving one-step equations. I do like the way, it's going to be difficult for me. I do like the way that they embed a little bit better when I do it myself using the insert edit media, but you just have to do what works for you. So that's another way that you can add something from YouTube as well. So I'm going to give myself some room. Okay. Other things we have here, you can record, upload media. Now this is great because this allows you to record yourself. So I can record myself. I can either, hello, I can record just my audio. I can record my video. Notice I also have the ability to upload media. So if I already have something out there that I want to bring in, I can do that, but I can also record just from here. Welcome. Today we're talking about the Rich Content Editor. And you can put your video in. Now I can give it a title so I can find it later and I can save that. It's not going to look like a video. It's going to look kind of weird, but when I go to press save, it's going to process and it will be a little thumbnail. Now something I probably should have told you, I always give it 2 seconds and keep my mouth closed because it always seems like Canvas videos catch me in the weirdest spot. I'll have my mouth open, it'll be all crazy. So it's actually just processing it and it'll be ready in a little bit. Let's edit one more time. Okay, so we've gone through most of these items. Now we do have some formatting things here in the bottom as well, but one of the things I want to draw your attention, the last tool, is this check accessibility. Now, I told you on the table that we gave it a caption, but there's another item that we have to give it in order for it to be accessible, and I just wanted to leave it undone so that we could have it show up. But if I check accessibility, on the right-hand side, it's going to tell me what things need to be fixed, and notice it says, table should include at least one header. And that's exactly right. So it'll tell me all the things that actually have to be fixed in order for it to be accessible for students. And so this is a really great way. And then it's going to give us its accessibility checker. It's going to say, yay. And so that's a great way for us to check our pages, assignments, discussions, so on and so forth. Okay, before we end, I just want to show you HTML editor. This is the code. So remember that embed code that we got earlier? If we wanted to, we could get that exact same embed code. And so I'm going to grab the embed code off my other screen again really quick. I can take this HTML editor. I can go into my HTML and I can paste that embed code exactly there as well. And this was that how to solve one-step equations video. And if I scroll down, there it is. So you can embed Padlet, Nearpod, Edpuzzle, all of those different things here. Okay, last thing, I'm going to show you the content selector on the very far right-hand side. Now, this is probably one of my very favorite things is this links. So for example, when I said I was teaching this spring, I would come over here to my links and I would say, please complete, and I would actually tell them every day of the week, I kind of laid it out for them of what they needed to be doing. So my assignments that I have in this course, I can actually just select them and it will put that in my table and it will actually hyperlink it for my students so that they complete that, which I absolutely love. So that's what this links page is for. It allows you to link to different places within your course. The second one is files. If you have files in your course, and I would encourage you to kind of organize that space prior, if you have files that are already in here, so for example, maybe you need a PDF of something, you have a chart, you can access them from this space. And lastly, probably the easiest way for you to add images. I already have a bunch of images here you can see in my course that I've already created. I can simply select them from this space and it's just much, much easier to have access to them than it is, for me personally, than it is to use this embed image at the top. After you have an image in, go ahead and click on it, use the little handlebars to make it smaller. I would also encourage you to go up and click on the embed image and make sure that you give it some alt text if you need to. You can also change the proportions here if you'd like. We can also use these alignment to actually put it where we would like it on our page. So none of this makes sense, but it was a really quick ditch effort to try to show you how to use the rich content editor and also how to use this content selector on the right-hand side. I hope that this was helpful, and I hope to see you in another Canvas enthusiast video soon. Thanks for joining us.